Hello, welcome to Kathaayaana. This is Trotting, a series where I take you to different countries around the world and share stories from those lands. The countries that I choose will be in alphabetic order A to Z. The story that I am going to share here is coming from a country beginning with the letter I, and that is Israel. And the story is about the most popular king of Israel, King Solomon. There is no doubt that King Solomon was one of the most famous kings of Israel. He was most famous for three W's: his wisdom, his wealth, and his writings. Solomon was born in Jerusalem, which is now the capital city of Israel. His father was King David and his mother was Queen Bathsheba. After the death of King David, his father, Solomon became the ruler of Israel around 967 BC, and his kingdom extended from Euphrates River in the north to Egypt in the south. It's believed, it has been told at a number of places that when King Solomon was the ruler of Israel, when he was the king of Israel, that was the time when Israel was at its prosperous best. It was the most prosperous years that Israel saw, and that has been attributed mainly to King Solomon's wisdom. The story goes that once when King Solomon was sleeping at night, he had a dream where the Lord Almighty came and ask him whatever he wanted the most. And King Solomon said, "My Lord, please give me lots and lots of wisdom." And why wisdom? When God asked, King Solomon said, "Because I strongly believe that if one possesses wisdom, all else, be it wealth and other kinds of kingdoms, will follow, will come by itself. So, my Lord, please give me an understanding mind to govern my people, your children who are under my care, and the ability to discern between good and evil so that I can give them fair justice." Impressed by his words, God granted him lots and lots of wisdom. And King Solomon's wisdom has been proven at many incidents in his court when people used to come and seek justice from him, asked him to solve his problems, their crises, and also their conflicts. And one of the most popular stories where he solved the cases very brilliantly and in a very easy manner was the story of two women who were fighting over a baby. Once a man came to the court with a baby in his hand and two women by his side. When King Solomon asked, "Yes, what is it? What is the matter?" the man said, "My lord, I was passing by a village where I saw these two women fighting over this baby, pulling and grabbing the baby towards each other. They said, 'Give it to me, this baby is mine. No, give it to me, this baby is mine.' And they were quarreling so badly that this baby was almost getting torn up and the baby was crying. And these women were not stopping their fight. They were not stopping their quarrel. Even when the elders of the village came to calm them down and help them out, they wouldn't listen. So I thought it would be wise if I brought them here and you give them justice." After he listened to that story, King Solomon said, "All right." And he turned to the women and asked, "All right, women, now tell me the truth. Who of you is the real mother of this baby?" One woman said, "It's me, my lord, it's me." The other woman said, "No, no, she's lying, it's me, my lord." The other woman said, "No, please believe me, I am the mother of this baby, my lord, please. No, it's not her, it's me, it's me. No, it's not her, it's me." And they began quarreling there in the court. And King Solomon said, "All right, stop, stop. Both of you claim that the baby is yours. All right, both of you shall have the baby." Everyone was shocked, surprised. How? How can both of them have the baby? There is only one baby and two women. How can it be possible? King Solomon ordered a servant to get him a sword. And a servant came with a sword. And he told the servant to take the baby and slit the baby from head to bottom. There will be two halves. Give one half to one woman, the other half to the other woman. Problem solved. One woman said, "Oh, thank you, my lord, thank you." But the other woman was shocked. She wailed and she ran and knelt before the king and said, "No, no, please don't do that. Oh, king, please, no, I pray, please, I beg, please don't do that. Please give that baby to the other woman. Please let my baby be happy, be healthy, be safe wherever he is. Please don't do that. No, no." Looking at that, King Solomon understood that that woman was the real mother, the true biological mother of that baby, because no real mother would want her child to suffer, to be harmed. So he asked the servant to get the baby and give it to this lady. She was also given some food, some clothes, and some money, and she was sent away, while the other woman who was lying was severely punished. Similarly, there was another case which he solved in a very brilliant manner. It seems once there was a very wealthy merchant in Israel who had sent his son for a business trip to Africa. When the son returned home from his business trip in Africa, he saw that his father had died. His father had lots of servants. He had a lots of servants and helpers. And one of the servants was so cunning, he was so greedy that he grabbed all the wealth, all the property of that wealthy man, took it in his custody, and he shooed away. He asked all the other servants to just get lost from the house. And he was sitting inside the house, claiming that it was his house and his wealth was his and everything. Now, when the son went to him and asked, "Look, you know you have been the servant. You have taken all the wealth. Don't be so greedy. Don't be so foolish. Give all the money to me because I am the real heir and I'm supposed to be getting all the money. I'm entitled to all my father's property." To that, the servant said, "Who are you? I don't even know you. You have come to steal my money? Get lost. I'm not giving you anything." Now, this son, the real son, understood that he could not do anything with that servant, so he went straight to King Solomon and expressed his problem. So the king asked that servant to be brought to the court, and the servant came. Now, again, he asked both of them, "Tell me the truth. Who among you is the real son of that dead merchant?" One man said, "It's me." The other man said, "No, it's me. He's lying. Believe me." The other man said, "No, he's lying. I'm the son." King Solomon said, "Okay, stop, stop." He turned to that person, the servant person, and asked him, "Okay, so your father died. You buried him in a graveyard, right?" "Yes." "Do you know where it is?" "Yes, of course, I buried him, so I know." "Please take us to that graveyard," said King Solomon. And King Solomon, the two men, some of his servants and soldiers went to that graveyard. Once they reached the graveyard, King Solomon ordered that that merchant's dead body be dug out. The merchant's dead body was dug out. Then he asked his servants to cut a bone out of that merchant's hand and bring it to him. And that was also done. Then he asked his servants to draw blood from both the men who were claiming to be the son of this dead merchant. And their bloods were also drawn. Once that was done, he asked the servant to take the blood of that servant who was claiming to be the son and dye it on the bone. And when that was done, when the blood was just about to be dropped on the bone, the blood just trickled down. It just fell down from the bone. When the blood from the son, true son, was dyed on the bone, it easily, very smoothly permeated inside the bone. And that was when King Solomon came to the judgment that it was this man whose blood had permeated within the bone of that dead merchant, he was the real son. So he ordered that that servant who with all his cunningness had taken away all the wealth, give back all the wealth to the son, and he was severely punished. It was not just this. King Solomon was so intelligent that he could talk and write about a wide range of subjects. He could talk about animals, he could talk about birds, trees, flowers, so on and so forth. He also had that brilliance to invent formulas to cure a number of diseases. Not just that. King Solomon also had that unique ability to turn the vicious power of demons, ghosts, and spirits to turn into a power to the advantage of men, which means the monsters, the ghosts, and demons were all abiding to the rules that King Solomon had set. They were obeying to him. They were living in harmony, living cordially among all the other people that were in his kingdom. Not just that, even animals, birds, insects, any other living creature too, they were also abiding by the rules set by King Solomon. They were obeying to him. And it is also told that King Solomon could understand the languages spoken by animals, birds, and any other living creature. King Solomon was a prolific writer. He had written over 1,000 songs and made it into a book, and also he wrote another book which contained 3,000 proverbs. Here are a few examples from his book of Proverbs.
Blessed is the one who finds wisdom and the one who obtains understanding, for her benefit is more profitable than silver, and her gain is better than gold. She is more precious than rubies, and none of the things you desire can compare with her. A poor person is disliked even by his neighbors, but those who love the rich are many. A king's glory is the abundance of people, but the lack of subjects is the ruin of a ruler. Anxiety in a person's heart weighs him down, but an encouraging word brings him joy.
So was King Solomon a very great king. He was so powerful, he had lots of strengths, he was intelligent, he had a lot of wisdom, he was wise, he was just, he was fair, he loved his people loved him back. But there were also occasions when King Solomon used to indulge in pride and arrogance, thinking that he was the most powerful of all living creatures in the world, that there was no one else like him. And accordingly, he learned lessons in humility, to be humble. The story goes like this. King Solomon had a magic carpet. That magic carpet was so huge, very huge. It was 60 miles square. One day, he got onto the carpet along with 40,000 men. His ministers, soldiers, servants, subjects, demons, animals, and whatnot. 40,000 of them onto the carpet. King Solomon ordered, "Hey carpet, take off, sail through the air." And then they were sailing. They were going and going, looking here and there. King Solomon saw how huge and how big his kingdom is, how happily his people are living around. And then suddenly he felt a sense of exuberance, a sense of pride, that he gave out a loud laughter and said, "Ha ha ha ha. There is no one else in this world unto whom God has bestowed knowledge, intelligence, and power and strength like me, and made me the ruler of this world." And suddenly, the wind blew so hard, it stirred the carpet and made all his 40,000 men drop to the land. Shocked, King Solomon ordered the wind, "Cease! You foolish wind, what are you doing? Don't you see? It is me, King Solomon, and they are my men. How dare you do this? How dare you come my way? Return to the other side." The wind said, "Return I will surely do, King Solomon, but first I would want you to subdue your pride. Don't be so proud, don't be so arrogant. You said God has given you so much wisdom, so much wealth, and so many other things. Bow to Him and be grateful, and don't laugh out aloud for such things." Listening to that, King Solomon understood that he was, maybe he acted a little foolishly, and then he knew that that moment he had to be humble. There was another occasion just like this. That day too, King Solomon got onto his carpet, took his men, and started sailing through the air. As they were sailing through the air, they came upon a huge valley where there were many ants. And when they came upon one of the ants shouted and told the other ants, "Oh, ants, come on soon, get inside your houses, or else you will be crushed by King Solomon and his soldiers, for they don't care for us." Listening to that, King Solomon ordered his carpet to halt, and he said, "Who among you spoke that? Come and stand before me." And one ant came, stood below the carpet. He said, "Who are you?" And the ant said, "I am the queen of all the ants. How may I help you?" King Solomon said, "I want to ask you a question and you need to answer me." The ant said, "Oh, I will surely do, but only if you take me on your palm close to you." King Solomon did it. He took the ant, took it in front of him, in front of his face. And then King Solomon went ahead and asked, "Now tell me, is there anyone greater than I am in this world?" The ant said, "Yes." King Solomon asked, "Who?" The ant said, "Me." King Solomon asked, "How is that possible?" The ant said, "If I were not greater than you, then God would not have made you come this way over my kingdom and made you take me on your hand like this." Now, so annoyed, so irritated listening to that, King Solomon threw the ant on the ground and he said, "How dare you talk to me like that, you petty ant? Don't you know I am King Solomon, the son of King David?" The ant said, "Oh, surely you may be, you are the son of King David. But who was King David? Wasn't he one human being who was born on earth just like all the living creatures like us? And you being his son, weren't you too born on this earth just like us? You are no exception. You are not fallen from the heavens. So stop being so arrogant and get back to your place." Saying so, the queen of ants went along with the other ants. Now, listening to that, King Solomon was so ashamed that he knew that he had to be humble. Then he asked his carpet to rise again and take him further. When they went a little further, they came upon a magnificent building. Now, looking at that, King Solomon asked the carpet to stop. They all got down. King Solomon and the other people got down, and King Solomon wanted to enter into that magnificent building, big building. But he could not find any entrance, he could not find any door. So he asked his demons to go find out if there is any entrance. The demons went and they searched, and after a long search, they came upon an old tree where they saw an eagle which was 700 years old. When they asked the eagle if they could help, if he could help them with some entrance of the building, the eagle said, "Well, I have no information about it. Maybe you can ask my brother. He is 900 years old and his nest is above me." So the demons went up there. When they asked that eagle, he said, "Well, I too don't have any information, but I have an elder brother who is 1,300 years old, and his nest is above me." And when the demons went to that eagle said, I remember my father used to tell me that there is one door on the west side of that building. But now, because of so many years, there is nobody living inside that building. That door must be covered with dust and sand. You might have to scrape it out to see if you can find anything there." And soon the demons went and told King Solomon about it. And so King Solomon ordered his servants to come and scrape out all the dust and sand on the west side of the building. And there indeed, there was a huge iron door. And on that iron door was an inscription which read, "We, the dwellers of this palace, lived for many years in comfort and luxury. But suddenly occurred a famine. We had nothing to eat. We were forced by hunger. We had nothing to eat, that we took out our pearls and precious stones and ground them into flour, just like how we grind the wheat into a flour. But it was of no use. We couldn't eat it. Then, as we were about to die, We bequeathed this palace to the eagles. And below that was a statement which had a detailed description of that wonderful palace. There were also written where the keys to different chambers and rooms inside the palace could be found. And following this direction, King Solomon entered inside the building and he saw that the palace was indeed so beautiful, and all the apartments and chambers were made up of pearls, precious stones, rubies, etc. They were so beautiful. But on all the doors of the chambers, there were written three proverbs.
O Son of Man, let not time deceive you. You must wither away and leave your place to rest in the bosom of the earth. Haste you not, move slowly, for the world is taken from one and bestowed upon another. Furnish yourself with food for the journey, for you will not remain on earth forever, and you know not the day of your death.
King Solomon inspected all the chambers, all the rooms in that palace, and he came to one chamber where there were a number of statues, and one statue there looked like as though it was alive. He went close to that statue and just touched it when its mouth opened, and there inside the throat of that statue, he saw a silver plate which he took out. When he saw, there were some characters written on that, inscribed on that silver plate, which King Solomon could not read, could not understand. So the servants went outside, brought one local boy to the king. And that boy said, "Oh my lord, this is written in Greek. It says, I, Shaddad ben Ad, ruled 1,000 provinces, rode 1,000 horses, had 1,000 kings under me, and slew thousands of heroes. But when the angel of death approached me, I was powerless." When King Solomon heard that, he realized that being proud, being arrogant of all his strength, all his power, his wisdom, would finally only go to dust. King Solomon ruled over the kingdom of Israel for 40 years before he had died. Hope you like this story. I will see you in the next video with a story from a country beginning with the letter J.